work in progress. It will also be discussed by the National Economic Council.
Federal Executive Council holds extraordinary meeting. President Buhari launches new e-passports. A grateful nation honors fallen heroes at the 2019 Armed Forces Remembrance Day.
We are going to re-strategize. From the strategy the former Inspector General put in place.
President Muhammadu Buhari decorates new Acting Inspector General of Police as the former IG Ibrahim Idris retires at 60. The Independent National Electoral Commission releases operational guidelines for the 2019 general elections. Hello and thanks for joining us tonight on NTA Network News. I am Muhammad Kuda Obakar, live in Abuja. Hingida John Adams is in our Lagos Network Center, while Ugochukuka Ona is in Benin. Activities marking the 2019 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration were rounded off nationwide with a symbolic wreath-laying ritual at the cenotaph of the unknown soldier. In Abuja, the nation's capital, the ceremony presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari took place at the National Arcade. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration is set aside annually to honor the nation's fallen heroes who sacrificed their lives during the World Wars, the Nigerian Civil War, as well as the various peace support and internal security operations for peace to reign supreme. The organizers, Ministry of Defense, says this year's event is particularly special as it coincides with the renewed onslaught against terrorism and therefore the need to appreciate the contributions of the troops towards restoring normalcy in troubled areas as well as protecting the nation's territorial integrity. The climax of the ceremony was a laying of wreath at the cenotaph of the unknown soldier by President Muhammadu Buhari, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, presiding officers of the National Assembly, Chief Justice of Nigeria, as well as the Ministers of Defense and the FCT. There were also the Chief of Defense Staff, Service Chiefs, and the Inspector General of Police, as well as representatives of the Diplomatic Corps, the Nigerian Legion, and widows of the fallen heroes. Special prayers were offered for the repose of the souls of the departed soldiers, as well as peace, unity, and sustainable development of the country.
The weapons of evil, hatred, and violence will be silenced by the virtues of goodness, love, and tolerance.
O Allah, heal our land. Grant us peace and security.
We ask, Lord, that this nation shall continue to be lifted to greater heights. We pray for our leaders. Keep them and preserve them. Grant them wisdom and insight even as they pilot the affairs of this nation.
At the commencement of activities marking the Armed Forces Remembrance Day in October last year, President Muhammadu Buhari spoke of the imperative of peace and the need to remain in one united country. Specifically, he urged political actors to take the path of honor by guarding their utterances and conducting themselves with high sense of responsibility, saying they must put Nigeria first at all times, as there will be no country if their acts of deliberate incitement are not checked. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, in this report, Mayor Ogidi compiled how the Armed Forces Remembrance Day was observed in some states across the country.
The nation was in a sober mood but colorful as officers of the Nigerian military, both retired and serving, came out in their numbers to give their respect to their departed partners in defense of the nation. For instance, in Yobe State, Governor Ibrahim Gidam led others in the security family in honoring those who paid the supreme price in once Boko Haram ravaged state. In Ebonyi State, Governor David Omae shows his love to the security agencies by donating 70 utility vehicles to them. Cross River State was not left out, and Governor Ben Ayade was emphatic on the need for an indivisible nation as exemplified by the fallen heroes. In Kano State, Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje led others in laying the wreath, advising the security agencies not to give up on their national assignment, as the government is ready to create the enabling environment for them to operate. It was also a sight to behold in Ogun State as the Governor Ebekunle Amonso led traditional rulers and officers of the Nigerian military to lay the wreath, a symbol of honor in celebrations like this. It was indeed a day the nation dedicated to the fallen heroes, as their contributions in defense of the nation remain indelible in the annals of the nation's history. Mie Ogede, NTA News.
Mohammed Abubakar Adamu has formally taken over the leadership of the Nigeria Police Force as Acting Inspector General of Police. This follows his formal decoration with the new rank by President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House. The President was assisted at the decoration by the immediate past Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Potun Idris. The new Inspector General of Police was born in 1961 and enlisted into the Nigeria Police Force in 1986. Until his appointment, he was a directing staff at the National Institute for Police Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru Jos.
Considering me worthy to be the next Inspector General of Police, and we know there are challenges, security challenges that we need to tackle in the country. We have issues of kidnapping, we have issues of abduction, we have some other security challenges, and we are going to re-strategize. From the strategy the former Inspector General put in place, we will re-strategize to make sure that we tackle these challenges head on.
On the election, what do we expect?
On the election, you've heard from the former Inspector General of Police, adequate arrangement has been made to make sure that free and fair and credible election takes place in Nigeria, and we're going to build up on the strategies put in place to also make sure that we have hitch-free election in the country.
Are you going to allay the fears of the opposition that you are not going to be partisan?
Well, we are professionals. We are going to stick by the rules. We're going to do the right thing. We will not go outside the edges of our job to do things that are untoward. Everybody will be given level playing ground to play his or her politics.
He's an officer I knew very well. We have worked together, and I wish him all the success.
What advice are you going to give him?
The advice I will give him is that just like during our time, he should try to go around the country, understand the country, and adapt measures to ensure that the Nigerian Police Force give maximum protection to lives and properties of Nigerians.
A new electronic passport for Nigeria with enhanced security features has been launched by President Muhammadu Buhari. The document is part of the reforms introduced by the federal government in compliance with the international best practices. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the launch preceded the extraordinary meeting of the Federal Executive Council, summoned by President Buhari to discuss issues relating to the new minimum wage.
Officials of the Nigerian Immigration Service, led by Comptroller General Muhammad Babandede, were on hand to kickstart the process for the issuance of the new e-passport for Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo were the first to have their biometrics data captured at the brief ceremony in the State House. The new passport, which has a 10-year validity period, is enhanced with 25 security features in compliance with the latest International Civil Aviation Organization standard. The Comptroller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Muhammad Babandede, briefed newsmen on the advantages of the new passport reforms.
You can have this passport. It will be good for 10 years. If it is 10 years, you will pay $70,000 in Nigeria and you pay $230 abroad. It will reduce congestion in our office. It will reduce burden on Nigerians in diaspora, especially where there are no diplomatic missions of Nigeria in such territory. We are bringing discipline to the system so that we reduce corruption and make sure payment is done online.
We have a series of cross-border issues to deal with, a series of challenges in terms of border security and management. And one of the best ways to do that is to ensure that our passport, contains all these security features, at least to make it foolproof.
The Minister of Interior, Abdurrahman Dambazo, said although the passports are currently printed abroad, steps have been taken to localize their production.
For security reasons, it is important that we domesticate passport production. Two, it will also provide opportunity for employment of Nigerians. And the third reason is the possibility of, introducing technology or technology transfer. All we need to do is to get an investor who will bring in the equipment and we start production, because the platform is there already. And that is the Nigerian Security Printing Company.
Already, the new passports have been issued to both President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo by the Minister of Interior. In the meantime, the extraordinary meeting of the Federal Executive Council summoned by President Muhammadu Buhari on the new minimum wage has ended. The meeting, which lasted over 2 hours, deliberated extensively on the presentation by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, on the proposed wage increase. And what was the outcome of the meeting? A question posed to the Minister of Information, Lai Muhammad.
It's work in progress. It will also be discussed by the National Economic Council before we can come out to brief the media.
It will be recalled that a technical committee is now in place to advise the federal government on how best to fund the wage increase on a sustainable basis, as Nigerian workers eagerly await the submission of the bill on the matter to the National Assembly for consideration. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The federal government says ensuring the sustainability of businesses operated in Nigeria remains pivotal, in line with the commitment of the Buhari administration's signature ease of doing business agenda. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, while unveiling the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance 2018, said he is hopeful that long-awaited code will play a unique role in facilitating standards of corporate governance. Leah Katumbabatunde has details.
Why have the blue chip companies sustained that level? And yet, most of our companies that have done very well in the 70s, 80s are no more in existence.
A genuine concern put forward by the technical committee set up to review the code of conduct earlier scheduled to be released in 2016. Nigeria in 2015 ranked as the world's 20th largest economy, with more than $500 billion and $1 trillion in terms of nominal GDP and purchasing power parity. Despite this size, smaller companies are found not to last longer than projected. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is optimistic that in defining the quality of the Nigerian market, the Code of Corporate Governance will lower cost of capital and help minimize wastage, corruption, and mismanagement.
As we promote and imbibe best practices in corporate governance, I'm hopeful that given the constant flow of talents from the corporate world to the political space and vice versa, we'll also be promoting and demonstrating high standards of governance in the political space over time.
I believe it is a joint responsibility of all economic participants, not just regulators, to promote and enforce good corporate governance practices.
Nigeria is seeking to extend the participation of investors in the economy to further deepen overall growth through healthy competition.
The structure of the code is such that it's amenable. The principles are enduring, they are scalable.
Corporate governance refers to the set of rules, controls, policies, and resolutions put in place to dictate corporate behavior. Nigeria has gone further to give it a more flexible pattern to ensure personal behavioral discipline. In Abuja, I'm Leah Katumbabatunde, NTA News.
The National Bureau of Statistics is now set to release the 2018 Inflation and Consumer Price Index on Wednesday, January 16, as against Thursday. Nigerian is here to give us details of these and others in business news.
Thank you, Kudu. The federal government has continued to demonstrate its commitment to the implementation of the ease of doing business in Nigeria through concerted efforts with private sector support towards achieving the goal. A development that the Minister of Finance, Ahmed, says is beginning to yield results.
Have continued to improve with the inflation coming down from 18.72% in January 2017 to 11.28% in November 2018. Also, the FX and capital inflows continue to improve from a low of 5 billion in 2016 to 14.8 billion total portfolio investments, as well as foreign direct investments and other investments in Q3 2018. So all of this is excellent news for our economy.
As business people, we look more about profit. Yes, it's good to say I can get tax credit, but it's only when I make profit that I would pay tax and I can utilize a tax credit note. So I think it should be more than that. There should be a way of recovery of getting return on investment that are directed at capital infrastructural development than tax credit. That's my take of it.
In the meantime, the Nigerian Stock Exchange resumed trading 15th January after a technical glitch with extended trading hours to 3:30 p.m. yesterday. At the close of trade Tuesday, the O-share index and market capitalization appreciated by 0.58% to close at above 30,000 basis points. Investors gained 64.41 billion naira. The year-to-date return stands currently at minus 4.11%. More than 30 million shares valued at 3.248 million naira exchange hands in 3,762 deals. The financial institutions of Diamond Bank and Guarantee and UBA were the most active stocks. In the meantime, the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) says it will release December 2018 Inflation and Consumer Price Index report, as well as no fewer than 179 reports in different sectors of the Nigerian economy this year to Wednesday, 16 January. Now that's a wrap on business news. Electoral Umpire releases 2019 electoral guidelines. Details when we return.
Nigerians, the Presidential and National Assembly elections will be conducted on Saturday, February 16, 2019. In addition, the governorship and State House of Assembly elections will be conducted on Saturday, March 2, 2019. Accreditation and voting will take place at the same time between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. Card readers will be used for the accreditation of voters. At 2 p.m., voters still on the queue will be allowed to vote. come with your permanent voter's card to the polling unit. Only persons with their permanent voter's cards, PVCs, and whose names are on the voters register will be accredited and allowed to vote. Take advantage of the simple accreditation and voting procedure. Vote the candidate of your choice. This message is from the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. INEC, making your votes count, consolidating our democracy.
The 5,000 naira where we need to buy UTME form for Junior, he never complete.
Mama Junior, President Muhammadu Buhari don't reduce price of UTME and DE form from 5,000 naira to 3,500 naira, excluding the money for reading text. Jam go begin sell 2019 UTME and direct entry application form from January 10 to February 21, 2019. The exam go sell for 16 to 23 March. For general detail, make you go to ibas.jamb.gov.ng or download the app from Google Play Store. To register by form, text surname, first name plus middle name to 55019. Jam go send profile code wey get 10 character. Now this profile code candidate go fill when they pay for jam form. After payment, candidate go receive e-pin for him phone. Now this e-pin candidate go take go any accredited jam CBT center to complete online registration. Don't use another person phone number to take register.
Jam, enhancing academic excellence.
Women and Youth Presidential Campaign Team. The Northeast Women's Zonal Rally for the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. Venue, Indoor Multipurpose Sports Complex, Bauchi. Date, 16th January 2019. Time, 9 a.m. In attendance will be Wife of the President, Her Excellency Dr. Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, Wife of the Vice President, Her Excellency Mrs. Dolapo Osinbajo, APC National Women Leader, Hajia Salamotu Baiwa Umar Eluma, all wives of governors, all APC zonal and state women leaders, all elected APC officials, all APC members. Chief host, Her Excellency Mrs. Hadiza M. Abubakar, wife of the Governor Bauchi State, and zonal leader Northeast. Announcer, Hajia Binta Muazu, Deputy National Coordinator, North.
The Candidates, a presidential town hall co-production between Daria Media and NTA, supported by the MacArthur Foundation. Kingsley Mogalu and running mate Umar Getso of the Young Progressive Party, Muhammadu Buhari and running mate Yemi Osinbajo of the All Progressives Congress, Omoyele Sowore and running mate Rabiu Ahmed Rufai of the African Action Congress, Atiku Abubakar and running mate Peter Obi of the People's Democratic Party. Moderator, Kadria Ahmed. Town hall venue, Sheraton Hotel, Abuja. Date, Wednesday, 16th January 2019, with the candidates of the All Progressives Congress from 8 to 10 p.m. The candidates will be broadcast live on NTA and other partner TV and radio stations, as well as streamed online on NTA and DTV.media. If you are over 18 and want to be part of the audience, apply online at daria.media or use the hashtag NGTheCandidates or participate online using the hashtag NGTheCandidates.
Nigeria, a land of promise, land of potential, rich in oil, arable land and solid minerals. Yet hunger, joblessness, homelessness and poverty are widespread. Over the years, Nigeria has suffered from hospitals without drugs, schools without teachers, and a huge infrastructure deficit. Clearly, we are yet to reach our full potential. And one of the reasons is because people choose bad leaders. Some even sell their conscience for a few thousand naira for 2019 elections. Don't sell your vote. Don't sell your future. Don't buy the people's lives. Vote selling is a crime against yourself. You will spend the next 4 years paying for it. Vote buying is against the law. Politicians, stop buying votes. People, stop selling your future. This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Thank you for remaining with us. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has released operational guidelines for the 2019 general elections. What is the reaction of political parties and the electorate? In this report, Mayor Ogidi has an overview.
On the 14th of January 2019, INEC released a 33-page document containing 52 guidelines on how the elections in 2019 shall be conducted. 4 additional guidelines were added to the existing document, that is, the one that was used in 2015. The additions were: 1. Collation officers are not allowed to receive telephone call while on duty. 2. Special queues shall be provided for people living with disability. 3. Voters are not allowed to go to the voting cubicle with telephones or any photographic device. And finally, accreditation and voting shall take place simultaneously between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. This has, however, generated some reaction from party chieftains and electorates.
The idea of registering, go house and come back and vote is a wasting of time. At the time you register immediately and vote immediately is okay. That is to save enough time and it will reduce the work of the INEC official.
Creating a special lane for disabled is also a good idea.
It's a welcome development. We have gone through it.
On assumption of office, the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, came up with 14-point agenda for the 2019 elections. With the publication of the guidelines for the elections, the 10th point of the agenda has been completed, meaning 4 left. 1. The final list of candidates for the election shall be published on the 17th of January 2019, followed by nomination of agents by the political parties. Thirdly, conduct of presidential and National Assembly elections, and finally, the conduct of governorship, state houses of assembly, and the FCT elections. Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
A chieftain of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State, Tonye Cole, has urged members of the party to remain steadfast and continue to work for the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari in the forthcoming elections. He said President Buhari's second term will bring more developmental projects to Rivers State, pointing out that the APC-led federal government has achieved a lot in the last 3.5 years and will consolidate these democratic gains and good governance. Mr. Cole, who was speaking on NTA program Political Update, urged the people of Rivers State not to relent in their efforts to ensure victory for the all APC candidates in the elections.
For peace, we know that APC can come in and change the situation, change Bile around, change Soku, change K, change Abonima, where I come from, and move us from an area where we were totally forgotten and neglected to a place of not just peace, but development. So my word to the people, especially the riverine community in Rivers State, is that peace is something that we are definitely going to bring.
That's Tonye Cole of the All Progressive Congress in Rivers State. The presidential candidate of the People's Trust, Benga Olawepo Hashim, has been officially presented to the public. Also, candidates of the party vying for various offices all received flags to kick-start their campaigns nationwide. Timothy Yusuf has the report.
It's a presentation of flag to the presidential candidate of People's Trust, Benga Olawepo Hashim, by the national chairman of the party, Olisa Agbakoba, signifies the official takeoff of the party's campaigns ahead of the coming elections. Benga Hashim says he will build a more united and prosperous Nigeria, leveraging on the nation's abundant mineral resources.
We are resolved to expand our economy to $4 trillion economy within 10 years. We will restructure the way power is organized between the states and the federal government.
The party's national chairman, Olisa Agbakoba, and director general of the Presidential Campaign Council, Habo Hashim, described their platform as the credible third force the nation has been waiting for. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has restated that job creation and provision of infrastructure will be accorded priority by his administration if voted into office. He stated this at the party's rally in Ekiti and Ondo states. Timothy Yusuf monitored the reports and now reports.
In Ado-Ekiti, the Ekiti state capital, the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar appealed to the electorate to go out en masse to discharge their civic responsibility, promising to remain committed to youth and women empowerment. In Akure, the Ondo State capital, Atiku Abubakar urged the electorate to vote for candidates of the PDP at all levels.
I promise you that I'm going to commit 40% of my government to the youth and 30% to women, which is a total of 70%.
Speakers at both rallies reminded their supporters that the People's Democratic Party is rebranded and set for electoral victory in the coming general elections. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Reports just reaching out says the presidency has reacted to various statements issued in the media by the opposition People's Democratic Party, with the latest personalizing attacks on President Muhammadu Buhari. A statement signed by the Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says the attacks on the administration are uncalled for. It added that it is high time Nigerians separated the chaff floating around in the air in the name of opposition from the crude and disgraceful invective being thrown personally at President Muhammadu Buhari. For years, the PDP had been a bastion of corruption and impunity, and it is difficult for the party to change. But change has come, and has come to stay. The second edition of The Candidates, a 4-part, 2-hour live televised town hall meeting series of the presidential and vice presidential candidates for 4 political parties organized by the NTA and Daria Media, continues Wednesday, 16th of January 2019. President Muhammadu Buhari and his running mate, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo of the All Progressives Congress, will feature at the town hall meeting from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Sheraton Hotel, Abuja. The program, sponsored by MacArthur Foundation, is moderated by Kadria Ahmad. The candidates provides a unique platform for direct interaction between the presidential and vice presidential candidates of the leading political parties in Nigeria and its citizens. Following the disruption of the Lagos APC governorship campaign rally last week, the National Union of Road Transport Workers has convened a meeting of its members to purge itself of those who may want to take undue advantage of the forthcoming elections for personal ambitions. This is coming on the heels of the police preliminary investigations indicting some members of the union. Emmanuel Anyimiro has the report.
It is your internal crisis.
After a thorough cross-examination of those involved in the violence, NURTW agreed with reports from the police and the APC findings that it was the leadership crisis of the union and not APC candidature that was responsible for the crisis. It consequently suspended its Lagos Island branch chairman,
If you deny, I'm suspending you now.
Alleged culpability.
We have built the reputation of this organization internationally. And people are looking at us as a responsible organization.
Elders of the union recalled the confidence INEC reposed in the union by partnering it to facilitate the movement of election materials to all parts of the country in the 2019 general election, stating that no one will be allowed to return their union to the era of thuggery. The leadership cautioned those already vying for offices to put that on hold until necessary steps are put in place to promote peaceful coexistence. Emmanuel Anyimiro, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari and all members of the All Progressives Congress, APC, congratulate the first interim national chairman of the APC and former governor of Osun State, Chief Abdul Karim Adebisi Akonde, on his 80th birthday. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says President Buhari extols Chief Akonde's loyalty and faithfulness to the party and his cause for building a strong and unified nation, as he consistently challenges governments and leaders to higher ideals. President Buhari joins all Nigerians in wishing Chief Adebisi Akonde a good health. Let's now join Hingino in Lagos for more reports. Hello, Hingino. Over to you.
Kudu, and a warm welcome to Lagos. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo has assured Lagos residents that the federal government will attract and implement more federal projects and infrastructure in the state if the All Progressives Congress (APC) wins in the February 16 presidential election. The Vice President gave the assurance during his visit to the paramount ruler of Koshofe and Oloworo of Oworo land while on his door-to-door campaign in the axis.
President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo for Continuity 2019 had resolved to commence door-to-door campaign across Nigeria to ensure their re-election in order to take the country to the next level. Taking the door-to-door campaign to Oworoshoki, Alakpere and Ketu areas of the state, the Vice President further assured the good people of Koshofe that they will enjoy more federal presence as the development of Lagos State is very important to the federal government.
We started with a foundation, we have laid a foundation, but we are going to build on that foundation. Every young man and woman ought to have a decent job, and you ought to have something to do. Not just anything, but something that will be good enough for you to be able to do the things you want to do.
Obasalau and other traditional rulers in the axis assured Professor Osinbajo that the good people of Koshofe will vote for President Muhammadu Buhari, Lagos APC governorship candidate Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and all other APC candidates contesting in the forthcoming House of Assembly and National Assembly elections. In Lagos, Nusa Osula, NTA News.
Ahead of the 2019 general elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, held an interactive session with religious leaders in Lagos. The focus of the meeting was on sensitizing and mobilizing Christian and Islamic faithful to be of good conduct and participate in the elections. Paul Omukago tells us more.
With a total of 6,566,136 registered voters, still has a lot to do in terms of voter education. This is because over 1.3 million permanent voters' cards are yet to be collected. INEC, as part of steps to ensure all eligible registered voters obtain their PVCs, met with religious leaders in the state. Resident Electoral Commissioner Sam Ulumeku urged the leaders and their followers to avail themselves of the INEC window of distribution of PVCs in the various registration areas from 16th to 21st January for collection of their cards. Those who may miss the 6-day window, the REC stress, can collect their PVCs at the local government INEC offices up until 8th February 2019.
We know that politicians are members of your churches and mosques. Many of them will even come to seek for your spiritual blessing for their political quests. You are well positioned, therefore, to influence them towards conducting themselves with civility.
It's an avenue for INEC to engage the religious leaders, basically on how they can assist in ensuring that they mobilize their followers.
They've done a lot of good works, and we're still letting them know that there's still some things they can do within the short time we have.
We are going to hold a meeting after this section now with our colleagues, so to impact what we have learned.
For INEC and religious leaders who attended this meeting, it was a success. In Lagos, Paul Omukago, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA Network News. More reports ahead after this timeout. Please stay with us.
Lagbaja. Omo baba muko.
Na baba be that.
How do I know you are not an impostor? Oya, play me something.
Abba, my band members are all over the world. Let me connect with them on Glow 4G and make some great music for you. Who's on Glow here?
I got Glow. I've got Glow too.
I go show you.
Hello, sir.
Aleki, Gogo, Jide, guitar. Uzo, give me conga. Ahmed, keyboard. 1, 2, 3.
The
matter where you are in the world, rest assured, Glow has you covered. Glow Oga SIM, the unrivaled big boss of data. Upgrade to a 4G SIM for free and get 125% bonus. Also enjoy 25% data bonus on all auto renewals. Dial *777# to choose a...
It's really tough right now. It's hard to expand my business.
Exactly. You know, many farmers depend on me. All these banks saying they don't see my vision.
Good evening, gentlemen. Sorry for interrupting. That's not exactly true.
How do you know?
I'm living proof. Mind if I join you?
Not at all.
Just last year, I had planned to expand my hospitality business. It was tough, but I met the right people.
So, who exactly are these people?
My bank, FCMB. Eddie, their bills on the house. I forgot to mention, this is one of our hotels. Have a great night, gentlemen.
With the right guys who believe in your visions, getting to your desired destination is easier and quicker. Let's help you take the next step. FCMB, my bank, and I.
What's up?
His friends didn't come.
Hey, let's practice.
But you're going out.
Don't worry about me.
Nothing satisfies a mother more than seeing a child grow up. But I know as he sweats, he'll face the risk of germs which can cause skin irritation.
That's why you need the new best ever Dettol Cool. Its new advanced formulation with extra menthol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs and gives your family icy cool freshness.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
Sore throats. It's often caused by bacteria and viruses. It feels like they're having it hot. You need Strepsils. It soothes the pain, plus it fights the germs with 2 germ-killing actives. Double power in 1 lozenge. Bye-bye sore throat. Take Strepsils.
Before we came into National Homegrown School Feeding Program, we are only producing 2 bags of flour. Now we are producing up to 40 to 50 bags of food breaks to children per day.
Before, we could sell the sachet juice and some of our materials at about 4 trucks per week, 6 trucks. But with homegrown now, we are going to about 14 trucks per week. Because of the National Homegrown School Feeding, we had to add additional 150 staff in order to cope with the time and then the production capacity.
We really praise the present administration under the General Muhammadu Buhari for creating National Homegrown School Feeding Program.
Kudos to the federal government.
Thank you.
Reports just reaching out says President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned the latest bandit attacks in Gandhi district of Rabat local government council of Sokoto state, which reportedly claimed 30 lives. A statement by the senior special assistant to the president, Garba Shehu, says President Buhari condemns the persistent killings of innocent and defenseless villagers by murderous thugs, and that his administration is leaving no stone unturned to track down these mass murderers and bring them to justice. President Buhari has also given instructions to the new acting Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Abubakar Adamu, and approved discussions between security and defense officials from Nigeria and Niger Republic to quickly bring on board joint operations that will rid the country of all forms of criminal activity. While consoling the families of the victims, President Buhari reassures the people of Sokoto State and all Nigerians that criminals will not be allowed to hold the citizens to ransom, noting that security is everybody's business. The National Assembly is set to resume plenary Wednesday, the 16th of January 2019, after their Christmas and New Year breaks. In the Senate, senators are set to kickstart the consideration of the 2019 budget as a matter of urgent national importance.
We should maximize and optimize the remaining period between now and June.
Medium-term expenditure framework is the basis for passing the budget 2019.
Members of the House of Representatives gave commitment towards timely passage of the 2019 appropriation bill. noting that the upcoming general elections will also affect legislative procedures, especially with regards to the budget.
Challenges that are facing the country. Two, I expect that we should talk about the midterm expenditure framework.
We just have to pass the budget before our tenure comes to an end. But what I'm saying is that these 2-3 people are expecting that when we resume, we should just begin the job and pass it immediately. And that is not how it is.
A key component of the nation's transportation mix is beginning to regain its vitality and relevance. Fisaya Ogunfoye reports that the nation's railways are on track in more ways than one. He also highlights the potentials inherent in a viable rail sector.
Transport infrastructure facilitates economic activities by ensuring the seamless movement of people, goods, and services. For some years now, the current administration has been focusing on a key component of the nation's transport mix, the railways.
With over 100 years of service, the old trusted friend is back. Of course, the railways offer something cheaper, safer, and more reliable to Nigerians, catering for a deluge of transport needs across the country.
I go with the train from my place, Ijoko, Ogun State, to VI. That's Ido. I light at Ido, then take bus. So it eases me a lot.
Formally, we find it difficult to board vehicle to Aba. They will charge you less here. When coming back, they charge you higher. And sometimes they will not come here on time. But when we discover that the train is operating, we try it and it was very effective.
We have demands here and there. Communities will come now demanding for stoppage of trains within their locality. And where we have no fund, the resources to to repair the buildings, some of them have been coming forward to even do the repair for us.
A crucial aspect of this service, which is expected to boost the nation's economy considerably and reduce the wear and tear on Nigerian roads, is the freight service, which effectively moves huge volumes of goods and produce from one region to another.
Running freight train from this end of the system started 4 September 2016. Since then, we've been running freight trains from the northern district. We've been moving animal feeds, agri-based products from this end of the country to the south.
What railway does for you is that it bears the brunt of the economy. It's about logistics, it's about transportation, it's about the ability to be able to move goods and services from one point to the other. Since most of the food items in Nigeria are produced in the north, to be able to feed the whole country, you have to ensure that the railway network is able to move from one point or nearly the upper parts of Nigeria, and that's the objective of this government.
It is a rejuvenation drive lubricated by commitment from the very top. The mileage is measured by handshakes from different zones in the country. The wheels are turning fast on the tracks that have been carefully laid. Customers and would-be customers hope for a sustained momentum, which will eventually move the nation's economy to a much better destination. In Abuja, Fisaya Ogunfoye, NTA News.
We now join Okochuka in our Benin Network Center to give us more on the Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebrations. Good evening, Okochuka.
The Nigerian Legionnaires in Edo State want government at all levels to address issues pertaining to their welfare. This is as they joined their counterparts across the country in observing the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Guloke Naini reports.
Officers and men of the Nigerian Armed Forces, the police, and other paramilitary agencies, traditional leaders, and the public converge on the Oba Square in Benin City to observe the solemn event in honor of fallen heroes. Governor Godwin Obaseki, accompanied by some members of his cabinet, were received at the venue by the commander, 4th Brigade, Brigadier General Gregory Omoregbe, before inspecting the guard of honor. The governor led other dignitaries in laying of wreaths at the cenotaph, then the 21-gun salute and hosting of the flag in honor of the fallen heroes.
The price was paid
for this country, for our unity, and we should never, never take it for granted.
I am using this medium to appeal to the federal government. Please, it should do much to alleviate our suffering.
From Asaba, Ifeoma Okafor reports that the day was also marked with prayers and laying of wreaths for the departed soldiers by Governor Ifeanyi Okowa and other dignitaries, including the state chairman, Nigerian Legion Ogie Boniface. In Benin, Goodluck Inaini, NTA News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC Edo State, and the Oba of Benin have been interacting with religious leaders ahead of the elections. Ifeoma Okafor completes the report.
INEC Edo State has continued to heighten its effort at ensuring a free, fair and credible polls in the forthcoming general elections. This time around, the Commission is meeting with the religious leaders in Edo State.
Our intention really is to sensitize the religious leaders on all that INEC has put in place in preparation for these elections, and we also count on their support.
The interactive session gave INEC the opportunity to clarify some of the issues raised by the religious leaders, which, according to them, may mar the smooth electioneering process. The interactive session ended with promises by religious leaders to sensitize their subjects on the outcome of the meeting.
Going home to meet with my congregation and enlighten them.
There will be no incidents, there will be no violence. We hope it will play out like that.
Meanwhile, the Oba of Benin, Oba Ewa II, had earlier met with the Christian community in his palace in Benin, where the monarch advised politicians to eschew violence during and after the elections and urged the Christian community to pray for a peaceful polls. In Benin, Ifeoma Okafor, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. The news continues after the break. Please stay.
Armed Forces and National Security in focus, plus remembering the fallen heroes, all on NTA Tuesday Live this week. The program promises to be incisive and educative. Don't miss it.
My name is Mrs. Awoniyi, and I'm talking from Sora Shopping Complex, Lagos. I just want to talk about the IPP electrification project in Sora Market. I run a boutique business and I have really benefited from this project so much because since it took off, I don't use my generator any longer. I've had to move my generator home. And I don't think I was once disappointed. Let's hope it will be a permanent project that we will enjoy for a long time. It's so convenient and it's so reliable to some extent. Since they started, we've not had cause to have a shortage of light or anything.
Sports now. Handball Federation of Nigeria set to improve on